Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session based on the concept of emotional armor. I was working with a client who was going through a breakup and had quite intense emotional triggers that they would find themselves with very extreme emotions, which actually impeded their ability to have good conversations or find resolutions. And what you tend to find is that when you've got such raw emotional triggers, it really is an impediment to any kind of resolutions or amicable progress. What this session does is it does two key things. One, it regresses to an emotionally resilient state, but also introduces the metaphor of almost like a superhero outfit that's bulletproof and formidable. If you think of Batman almost with that kind of black Kevlar coated suit, flexible but very protective, that is used as almost like a metaphorical suit of armor so that words and emotions don't have the same impact, and therefore they can be a lot more composed, in control, and how they would want to be in that situation. What you're going to hear from this particular session are a section of suggestions that are designed to be more in control of a situation, but also to diffuse some things that can make things worse. Obviously, you might not be in a situation where your triggers are to do with a breakup. It might be that it's a boss that can trigger you or a family member that triggers you. In which case, this idea of an emotional suit of armor is still helpful, but you would, when you listen to this hypnosis session, need to change the frames of references to be more suited to your individual situation. If you're struggling with emotional triggers, you can click the link in the show notes to schedule a free 30-minute consultation call to explore working with me. But what you might find is that actually this session, even if it's not directly your situation, is actually going to be quite helpful for you. So find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a slow, resourceful breath of relaxation, and as you exhale, just allow any feelings of tension or stress, anxiety or worry to feel like it's leaving your body in your outward breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice that when you slow down your breathing, your emotions all slow down. Breathing out any frustrations, any concerns, and breathing in a wonderful feeling of calm, relaxation, and composure. That's it, breathing in and breathing out. I want you to think of a color that you would identify with a feeling of calmness. Maybe a pastel color, a warm yellow, a soothing blue. And as you breathe in, just imagine that soft, calm color going in through your nose and filling your body with a feeling of calmness. As you exhale, allow any suppressed emotions or just echoes of emotions that no longer serve you to feel that they can be released. Maybe there's been frustration or anger, guilt or concern, and just imagine those emotions leaving your body in your outward breath and seeing perhaps a darker, shadowy color leaving your body, representing those emotions that you're releasing. Breathing in soothing, calm, resourceful emotions, and exhaling any thoughts, feelings, any echoes that no longer serve you. Just allow it to leave your body. And as you breathe in and breathe out slower and deeper, feel your body drifting into a state of deep relaxation. As your body relaxes, your imagination awakens. And I want you to recall a garden, a childhood garden filled with positive memories. And just imagine what it would be like to be back in that garden. Maybe you can remember a sunny day, a lush green lawn, trees, flowers. Just allow that wonderful feeling of play to rekindle, to reactivate a time when worries were small and imagination was big. The time would be lost as you immersed yourself in running and climbing and jumping and playing. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to find a place in that garden with a beautiful rose. And maybe it was a rose bush with many roses. Or maybe you could imagine just a single rose. And I want you to get a sense as you look at the rose, the delicate petals, the fragrance that comes from the rose, that there can be something beautiful and delicate, and yet still have a form of protection. As you focus your attention on the thorns of the rose, that those spiky thorns aren't there to attack, they're there to defend against certain animals that might feed on the petals, to take something delicate and vulnerable. And those thorns enable you to empathize with strong boundaries. As you breathe in and breathe out, stare into the center of the rose, seeing the delicate combination of new petals forming, the texture, and all those different patterns connected with this wonderful flower. And as you stare into the flower, I want you to imagine a future. And I want you to imagine your future where, just like the rose has its thorns, I want you to imagine a future where you're dressed in a suit much like a superhero. Perhaps you're preparing for a meeting, some form of interaction, but I want you to see yourself dressed in a full bodysuit made of flexible Kevlar, almost like Batman's suit. I want you to see yourself. See yourself as someone that is protected. See yourself as someone that is safe. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice that version of you is able to interact from a place of strength, composure. See yourself in the very situations that you can now see yourself being calm and composed. See yourself as being able to interact from a position of strength, that you're protected. And I want you to imagine that there is some kind of interaction where unfair, unreasonable words and emotions are being projected at you. And I want you to see your face with the expression of being unflappable and unfazed. See yourself able to respond in a cool, calm, pragmatic way. See yourself able to listen, empathize, but not be triggered. Breathing in and breathing out. I want you to get a sense that this version of you feels very prepared. See yourself being articulate, communicating your point of view. But see yourself as calm, composed, and unshakable. And when you see yourself looking that way, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine stepping into that version of you so you're no longer an outsider, but just imagine you're now in that same interaction, feeling the material of that Kevlar on your skin. It's flexible, the skin can breathe, but you get this wonderful feeling of feeling safe and protected. And imagine, from a first-person perspective, you're now hearing those hurtful, unreasonable, emotionally charged words, and feel a wonderful feeling that they can slide off like water off a duck's back, that you can hear the content of the words without feeling hurt or affected by them. Feel emotionally invincible as the words just slide off, and feel a sense of pride as in a pragmatic tone of voice you articulate that you hear what's being said, you understand the perspective without being riled by it, triggered by it, as you get this wonderful feeling of feeling safe and protected. And with that calm composure, you could imagine this isn't a battle trying to be won. The ideal victory is planting seeds that would lead to a wonderful garden in the future. I want you to imagine that a battlefield is no place for children. As you remember the wonderful garden from your childhood, you can have the intention of creating a wonderful emotional garden. A garden where children can play and be happy and feel safe. And I want you to imagine that you are creating that through your intentions. A strong boundary doesn't mean you're weak. A strong boundary means you operate from a position of strength. I want you to get a sense that you can have intentions of what you want for you, for your children, for the future. And you can hear the words that give you a sense of someone else's perspective. But the ultimate victory is not winning a war, is having a beautiful garden for your children to play in. I want you to imagine now you are in a different garden, a garden of the future. And just imagine that you are in that garden. Your children are older and they're in that garden. And that you still have this invisible Kevlar suit. Only it becomes activated whenever it's needed, with any person in any situation. That if you're being triggered, attacked, criticized, you can feel that superhero suit being activated under your clothes. So you can always operate from a position of understanding, perspective, so that your words shift to pragmatic solutions. What can be done? How are problems solved? What is fair and reasonable? As you breathe in and breathe out, just imagine enjoying that garden. I want you to imagine that you can teleport through time and imagine yourself in situations where you would need it, with that protective suit of emotional armor. Feel the sensation on your skin wrapping around you, giving you strength and resilience. Imagine this suit shielding you from any negative words or emotions, allowing them to slide off without impact. And feel the suit infusing you with a sense of calm and composure, especially in interactions with your ex. Each time you wear this emotional armor, notice how centered and pragmatic you become. Perhaps you can imagine the texture, the sensation, the feeling, as you envision this suit as a symbol of your emotional strength, keeping you safe and secure. You don't need to imagine putting on the suit. Imagine it can be activated whenever needed, but feel yourself becoming more resourceful, ready to handle any situation with ease. And you could imagine this suit reinforcing your ability to create healthy boundaries, protecting your emotions but also your peace of mind. With this emotional armor, sense your confidence growing, knowing that you are impervious to unfair or unhelpful comments. And because you feel safe, feel a sense of serenity growing within you, enabling you to feel balanced even if the people around you aren't. Because you feel empowered, you can focus on what would represent success in the future for you and the people that matter most. Each time this emotional armor is activated, you can feel a surge of strength and clarity guiding your decisions, negotiations, and interactions. But imagine that the suit doesn't just provide a barrier. Although it is a barrier against negativity, it's also charging your batteries with wonderful resources, enabling you to reflect on what is truly beneficial. Imagine again that you're wearing this suit in the most challenging moments, feeling unshakable and composed. As you imagine going back into the future, perhaps a year or 2 years from now, imagine thinking back at how this emotional armor was useful, that it did indeed help to have better interactions. It did lead to beneficial outcomes. When you think back to those interactions, get a sense of pride at how composed and reasonable you were. And part of that came from the perspective that you were safe and protected, resilient and composed. Just imagine going back to that childhood garden and realize that all this time you've been staring into the petals of a rose. And just imagine putting a finger or a thumb on one of those thorns, feeling that sensation of the prick of a thorn, and realizing that if boundaries exist naturally in nature to protect what is precious and valuable, then boundaries are completely reasonable for you to keep you safe, to prevent a future where you become resentful, bitter, or jaded. Allow the future version of you to be a rose, and therefore the thorns are there to keep you safe. As you breathe in and breathe out, feel like you're returning to the present, but feeling that you take that invisible emotional armor with you, activated intuitively when needed, giving you a sense that this suit learns through experience and becomes better with every interaction. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Connect fully with the present moment. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, you will awaken feeling resourceful, resilient, calm and composed, with a sense of optimism for the future, knowing that it will be difficult, but that you have the inner strength to get to that future that you desire. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.